Welcome to the Kelly Kitchen. Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining me. Let's just get set up here a little bit better. Wow, I think this is week 8 of lockdown quarantine, and I'm still here. I'm still cooking, and thanks for joining me. We are going to have some food and some health and some fun. And we have to get started because when I put this menu together, I did not realize how many pieces I had to pull together. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. I hope you guys are hanging in there during this quarantine. It has been a cooking frenzy over here in the Kelly Kitchen. I can't stop. I was actually just telling Peter today, I'm actually not even hungry and we have so much food in the fridge, but I am committed to coming to see you guys every Monday night, and everything I'm making can be made in batch cooking. So tonight we are going to have a Greek lemon chicken. It's chicken Slovaki. We're going to have a Tzatziki sauce, which is like a yogurt Greek garlic thing. We're going to do pickled red onions. We're going to do cauliflower rice. And we're going to do our double chocolate chip keto, double chocolate chip cookies. That recipe is on the website, so you can get it all there. I'm so happy to see you guys. I'm going to get started really quickly because we are going to do a quick pickle on our red onions. Now, I love red onions, just eating them raw, but they tend to have a little bit of a bite, so we're going to get these pickled Normally with pickling, you add some sort of sugar. We're going to add our Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, which is a low-carb sweetener, just 1 tablespoon of the granular monk fruit sweetener. We're going to add that to, I just have some warm water. It's like lukewarm to extra warm, and I just want to dissolve the sweetener in there. And then in a little bowl, I didn't have a mason jar that was the right size for my stuff, but hi, Julie. Hi, everyone. So good to see you. Kelly's here, and Nicole's here, and Dan is here, and my friend Vic is here. So great to see all you guys. Okay, so I didn't have a mason jar, but I just wanted to have a container that was big enough to fit all the onions, but not too big to have a bunch of air in here. So I have sliced 3 cloves of garlic and about 2 teaspoons of salt. My sweetener is melted in the warm water. I'm going to take, this is 1 red onion that I just took my mandolin and I sliced it in the mandolin super thin. And the thing about these red onions, of course, I'm dropping them all over the floor. Sorry, honey. We're going to have to get the mop out or the broom out when you get home. The thing about these pickled red onions is that they pickle really quickly, but we're going to be able to keep them in the fridge for a super long time, like maybe even like a week or 2. And you can add them to salads, and you can add them to a whole bunch of different meals. You know, if you just have like some cauliflower rice or some roasted vegetables, you can add the pickled onions with that. So I've got my cup of hot water sweetened with a tablespoon of Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, and then I have just some apple cider vinegar. Someone just said something to me. Oh, it's my friend Denise from high school. Hi, Denise. How are you? Did you see Piper on Instagram today? She's a graduate of Marymount. So happy. Okay, so we're going to do a ½ cup of apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to add that in here so I can measure it, and then I'm just going to pour it right over my red onions. And I'm going to just press that down. So it's a perfect amount. Now, when you're doing this, you want to have some sort of a mason jar or a container that your onions are fully filled to the brim. And then you're going to mix it all together. And we're just going to let this, you really should have a mason jar so it doesn't leak or anything like that. But we're just going to let this sit while we're doing all of our other stuff, and that is it. And you can keep these in your fridge for a couple of weeks, but we're going to have those on our on our Greek chicken bowls tonight. So we'll just get that out of the way. The next thing that I wanted to get started on was, let's see who else said hi to me. Oh, hi, Tracy. Today I am making chicken souvlaki Greek bowls, and I just pickled some red onions. The next thing we're going to work on is the cucumber tzatziki sauce. So I took just a regular cucumber, and I took my mandolin. You can use a sharp knife and just slice the cucumber really thin, and you put it in just a colander with, this is just a very thin dishcloth. And the reason that you want to do this, I sprinkled some salt over this about half an hour ago. The reason you want to do this is because you want to get all the liquid out of your cucumber. So check this out. I hope you guys can see this from that far away, but I am going to just squeeze all of the liquid. You see that? So we're going to get all the liquid out of the cucumber so that our tzatziki sauce doesn't get too runny. We want it to be thick from the Greek yogurt. So we're just going to squeeze that all out of there. And here's the next thing that we're going to do. So in my bowl, I got a little ahead of myself, you guys. So I had to slice up, I wanted to get the garlic going because garlic always takes a little bit longer for me to peel for you. So in my bowl, I just have 2 or 3 cloves of garlic that I just minced, or I just kind of mashed them up so that they they're not going to be in huge chunks, so that when you take a bite of it, you're not feeling like you're taking a bite of whole garlic. We're going to use plain Greek yogurt. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to use plain Greek yogurt, and this is whole milk, so it has more fat in it, and it's creamier and richer. And we're going to do 2 cups. This is the, I could eat this tzatziki like by itself because it's so good. I could actually eat it with the pickled onions and be pretty happy with that. Okay, so there's 1 cup. And let's do a 2nd cup. I picked some mint from my garden. I mean, who am I? Like, I'm acting like I'm Martha Stewart here. We were getting on the bandwagon for the quarantine, and we planted some herbs in the back. And they're actually suffering right now, but we're trying to get the most out of our mint and basil and whatever parsley we have back there. Okay, so that is my yogurt. I have my squeezed out cucumbers. Oh, I don't want to drop those. I'm going to mix those right in. I'm going to actually turn my oven on. I'm going to get the cauliflower rice going at the same time. I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to turn this is for my chicken. I'm just going to turn that on low to sort of get it going. Kelly, how are you? Okay, so I've got my cucumbers mixed in with my Greek yogurt. I'm going to do half of a lemon. I'll just squeeze that right over my hand so I can catch any seeds. That gives it a nice little tang. And this is my mint from outside. It smells so, so, so good. I'm going to give that a rough chop. It gives it just a really nice, fresh, sort of herbed flavor. And I hope everybody had a great Mother's Day. I had a banner day of cooking yesterday. We did ribs, and we did salmon, my Dijon salmon. I can't wait to show you guys. The recipe is going to probably go up later this week. It's super, super easy. This Dijon salmon, and it's a weeknight meal that makes you look like you're eating in a 5-star restaurant. Okay, so we've got our Greek tzatziki sauce, and we're gonna just, where's my salt? I'm gonna do just a little sprinkle of salt and give that a whirl. And that is going to set right on top of our pickled onions. So now, the cauliflower rice wasn't even really part of the plan tonight, but for the Greek bowls, I love that idea where you've got sort of a rice, and you've got your tzatziki sauce, and you've got your chicken, and then you've got all the little things that remind me of Greek food: feta cheese, tomatoes, cucumbers, Kalamata olives. So I wasn't even really planning on making the cauliflower rice, but it is part of the bowl. So I just have like a teaspoon of olive oil in there, and I just chopped up a half of a yellow onion just to give my cauliflower rice a little bit of flavor. I'm also going to chop up just some parsley. Again, I grabbed this from my yard like 5 minutes ago. I gave it a quick wash, and it's kind of nice to have it in the backyard already ready to go. I might have to get to be a little bit better of a green thumb. So again, I'm usually I double or triple make my cauliflower rice because we love it so much. Oh, there's my favorite Peter Bromley. Hi, Peter. How are you? But I'm only going to make one package tonight because we just have so much food. There's nothing we can't eat it all. So my onion is getting nice and soft. We're going to put our cauliflower rice right in top. This is like one of the quickest things. And honestly, I don't know why people they say that they don't like cauliflower rice, because maybe they just don't add enough salt and butter to it like I do. We think it tastes amazing, and we love it. So we're just going to give that a quick stir. I will season it with just a little bit of salt. That's probably a half of a teaspoon. Where's my pepper? There it is. We'll give this a couple cracks of pepper. The cauliflower rice, I take that straight from the freezer. I like it when it's frozen better than when I'm cooking it. I don't like to thaw it, because then when I'm cooking it, it gets a little bit mushy. And so when you cook it from frozen, it stays a little bit more intact, more like rice. So, yeah, so the rice is frozen, and we're just going to let this cook down a little bit. I've got the salt, the pepper, the onions. Those are going in there. And now our rice is taken care of. You guys, this is going really fast. I was certain that I wasn't going to have enough time. Let me just show you really quickly how cute this is. So all the flavors of Greek stuff, I've got my feta cheese. I've got, just some grape tomatoes. I've got a sliced cucumber. It's great for like when the summer months are coming. I know some of you guys are still having snowstorms. My daughters are in the Northeast, and they were shoveling snow the other day. But these are like sort of summer fresh flavors for me. So I've got my cucumber, and I've got Kalamata olives. I just grab a jar. Usually I get them whole and I get them pitted, but the supermarket was out of them. My supermarket's actually been pretty good during the quarantine, but for some reason they, didn't have them. So I just got sliced Kalamata olives, and I drained them. I love the saltiness to them. It's really a great flavor. So the cauliflower rice is doing its thing, and we're just going to get this stuff sort of out of the way, because I would like to get our cookies going, because they're like the star of the show, and everybody always wants to come for all the keto desserts. So this is a recipe that I created because I was looking for a brownie / cookie. I was kind of done with brownies in a bar, and I wanted a chocolate chip cookie. So that's how this recipe was born. And when you go see the recipe on the website, thekellykitchen.com, Kelly with an IE, when you go to the recipe, I want you to know, because a lot of people ask for substitutes for the sweeteners and substitutes for the nut butters. And I've really tried it so many different ways. And so I would not recommend making any substitutions. You can try it, but when you get the chewiness of these double chocolate chip cookies, it comes from the allulose. And allulose is what they call the rare sugar. And it doesn't bake the same way as Swerve and erythritol and monk fruit. Those tend to be a lot more crunchy. So I actually do a blend of both of those. So I still get a cookie shape and I can still hold the cookie, but it has a chewiness to it. So I don't recommend any substitutions, and we're going to get started. I also do not recommend substituting peanut butter because I think that almond butter is a much more neutral flavor in this, and I like to get Trader Joe's crunchy almond butter. And here's the reason why I love to get it, because it has the best flavor. They put a little bit of salt in it, but it also is the best price. It's expensive, don't get me wrong. I mean, peanut butter, nut butters are expensive, but for a 16-ounce jar, you can get it for sometimes for like $5.99 for the whole jar. So we are going to start with, I have 1 tablespoon of melted butter, just regular old butter. I am going to add 1 cup of regular crunchy natural almond butter. Do you see how soft that almond butter was? It's because it's room temperature, and you need it to have you need it to be runny like this for the dough to come together. In my dry ingredients, I have cocoa powder, just regular old Hershey's cocoa powder, nothing special about that. I have the allulose that I told you about. The brand that I like to use is called Allulose Plus. They add a little bit of stevia in that, just a little bit, because it gives it a little bit more sweetness. And then I have my Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, which is a blend of monk fruit and erythritol, and I powder it because you don't want your cookies to be granular, sort of crunchy. So I've got my allulose, I've got my monk fruit, I've got my cocoa powder, I've got a little bit of baking soda, and then this is sort of the specialty ingredient also. So this is called Naked PB, which is just peanut butter powder. There's nothing else in it. And most supermarkets carry something called PB Fit, and they add sugar to it. So I would not recommend that, but this you can get online, and it's actually much cheaper. Go to Amazon and get this one, much cheaper. So we just need 3 tablespoons of that in here. So we're going to pour that right in there. Hold on a second. I got to give my cauliflower rice a little bit of a stir. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to just put my lid back on there. I'm going to let the butter completely melt down, and it's going to coat all of the cauliflower, and then we're going to get it nice and yummy. Okay, so I've got all of my powdered stuff. I've got my butter and my peanut butter in there, and I'm going to do 2 eggs. Get this stuff out of the way. Now, when this dough comes together, depending on how thick your almond butter is, it might be a little bit too thick, the batter. You want sort of a sticky, thick consistency. And if it tends to be too thick, then you want to add just a tablespoon of water, 1 tablespoon at a time, until it gets to be more of a, I'm going to just show you how I'm kind of stirring this all together. It kind of gets to be like a thick brownie mixture. And we're going to just mix those eggs in, get all of the peanut butter powder all the way in the bottom. Oh, this looks fantastic. And so the dough is sticky, and you want it to be that way. The thing about, you can use 2 spoons to get it onto your baking sheet, or this is my mini ice cream scooper, and I use this for so much stuff. I think that this is about a tablespoon. I'm not really sure, but it just is a great little tool to have in the kitchen for everything. It's perfect for like when you have little muffin tins. It's the perfect amount. It just makes everything a lot faster. So I can't forget this, because these are double chocolate chip cookies. We are going to add a third of a cup of Lily's semi-sweet baking chips These are actually dark baking chips, but I would suggest a semi-sweet, but this is all I had right now. I usually get all of my lilies online, Amazon. I buy them in bulk. You can get them for much cheaper when you do it that way. So I'm going to do 1/3 of a cup of my lilies. We're going to get this all mixed in here together, and I'm going to show you how thick this batter is. And it's okay if it's thick because these are kind of like a cross between a cookie and a brownie. Okay, so you guys see how thick this batter is? Pretty thick, huh? So we're going to use, this recipe makes 24, but see how quick this little tool makes this? I love this little tool. I don't even know where I got this, but I probably got it at like the dollar store or something. I love it. So this recipe makes 24 cookies. I'm just going to make, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12. And we'll get these in the oven, and then we're going to get our chicken started. Our rice is almost done. This dinner comes together really fast. So let me tell you a little bit about the chicken. So I like to do freezer bags of stuff when I get home from the supermarket. I will be able to buy a bunch of stuff on sale, and then I freeze it. I come home and I divide it all, and then I freeze it with marinade in the freezer bag so that I know. And I don't do this all the time. I'm not that organized. Again, I'm not like trying to be Martha Stewart here, although she's got us, and I would only hope to be as organized as her someday. I forgot what I was saying. Whatever. Never mind. I've got sidetracked on Martha Stewart. You can use a spoon if that's all you have. Use 2 spoons. Again, this is going to be kind of sticky. But the other part about this dough is that we're going to bake it for 8 minutes, and you're going to see that it doesn't flatten out like real cookies. So when we take this out of the oven, we will flatten it with our hands. Okay, so because these don't spread out, I can put them really close together. Hi, Susie. How are you? You're watching from New Zealand. Oh my goodness. I hope you're having a great time. Okay, so our chocolate cookies, they can be close together because they don't spread out. So we're going to put these in for 8 minutes, not longer than 8 minutes. And I'll tell you about that in a second. It's very important. I've got my oven going at 350 degrees. It's very important when you're working with allulose is that it burns really fast. So if I keep that in there for 9 minutes, I could get like a crunchy bottom, and then, like a little bit of a burnt bottom, and you don't want that. So allulose has its definite benefits, and it's a great product to use for low carb stuff. But that is one of the downsides. The other downside is that it doesn't harden after you've, who's that? Hi, Flo. Thank you. Oh, good. You made the ribs. Yeah, ribs are a favorite in our house. I forgot what I was saying again. I'm going a million miles a minute. Okay, our cauliflower rice is done. All the butter is melted. I'm going to turn up my chicken area over here. Oh, I was telling you about my freezer meals. So my freezer meals, I dump all of the ingredients into the freezer bag, and if I'm organized enough, then I label it. But sometimes I just kind of remember, and I put them in the freezer, and then like 2 weeks later, I'll be like, oh, well, let's have this for dinner tonight, and I'll pull it out so I'll have it thawed and already marinated. So that's what I did, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Our cauliflower rice is beautifully seasoned, and it's got a nice texture, and this is my parsley from outside, and I'm just going to mix that in there, and we're going to pull that off the heat, and we're going to move, let's move this one here. We'll turn this off, and we'll turn this on. So here's what I did for the chicken. I'm watching my cookies because I've got 6 minutes and I can't let those burn. So here's what I did with my chicken. I took a pound of chicken and I just cut it into bite-sized pieces. And then this is a mixture of lemon, olive oil, garlic, oregano, cumin, and red chili pepper, or red chili flakes, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And so I'm going to see if I can show you this. It's not a liquidy. There's some olive oil in here too. It's not a liquidy marinade. It just coats the chicken so that each of the pieces of the chicken has just beautifully coated with all of the herbs on it. So we're gonna pop those in there. I just dumped the lemons right inside, but the chicken is it's marinated, but it's dry. So it's not like you're throwing, and you want it to be dry, not filled with a bunch of liquidy marinades, because you want to give your chicken a chance to brown. And give it some room. So when we pull our Greek chicken bowls together, and this is great for anybody that has a family. I kind of think of this as like a Greek version of tacos, because anybody can put whatever they want in their bowl. If they don't like the feta cheese, if they don't like the olives, then they can pick and choose what they want. The base is the chicken and the cauliflower rice, and you sort of make it however much stuff you feel like putting in there. So this is going to get nice and brown on one side, and then we'll flip them over. We'll cook the rest of the cookies after you guys leave, or after we leave. I've got people already earmarked for those cookies because they're quite a favorite in the house. And let me actually show you what they look like. Oh, where'd they go? So one of the other things I do with these cookies, because I love that whole like sweet and salty thing, where's my special salt? So this is this really cool flake salt. I must have bought this like 100 years ago. It's sea salt, it's flakes. I don't use it very often, but it gives the nicest flaky flakes on top of your cookies. And so when you're eating them, you get like a bite of the chocolate chip and a bite of the salty sea flakes. And then you get the crunchiness from the almond butter. It doesn't taste like almond butter, but then you get the chocolatiness. So it's really like, it's just such a great, I love this dessert. I'm super proud of it. And you know what else I'm super proud of? That I got pictures where my chocolate didn't look purple. So the chocolate actually looks like chocolate. So that's always a huge plus for me. Let me get our bowls because I'm going to show you how we're going to put this all together. So I like to have these wide bottom bowls because then you can put things all around your bowl and then you can kind of pick what you like. And so I have let's see how our onions are doing. Oh, beautiful. They're coming together very nicely. And let's just put all this stuff away. And then we'll give a little turn to our chicken. Oh, it's coming, really getting nice, and it smells fantastic. So the thing about batch cooking and quarantine stuff is that you can kind of put a bunch of stuff in your freezer and then think ahead. I know it's a lot. I mean, we have more time to be thinking ahead, but think ahead just a little bit, like who needs to eat tonight? What do I have on tap for what is, I'm doing? And then you kind of figure out what everybody feels like, and then you can just pull it out of the freezer or pull it out of the fridge, or you can tell them you're having leftovers tonight, so that you're not always in the kitchen. I'm, a little bit of a freak because I love being in the kitchen. Ooh, this is getting so beautifully brown. Do you guys see that? Look at this. Look at it. Oh, shoot, I'm dropping all over the floor. Don't tell anybody. We're going to turn this over. We're going to get the other side of this brown. Oh, fantastic. So I made my workout clothes, by the way, because right before I told myself I was usually Monday nights, I skip my workout because I come to see you guys. But I said I need to get at least half an hour on the treadmill. It wasn't anything crazy, but just a little bit of a fast walk for 30 minutes. Keeps me honest. Lets me have a few more of these keto desserts. I don't have them all the time, but it is nice to have them. And now that I'm home and I have the ability to spend that time working out when I don't have to commute, it's kind of been a nice change for me. So anyway, that's why I'm in my workout clothes. I was on the treadmill. I'm already sweating in here, kind of. Okay, so now, oh my God, look at how great this looks. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And it smells amazing. There's our cookies. Okay. So I'm going to show you a little trick that we're going to do with the cookies. Get this out of the way. Woo! So cute. Now, these might not look, these look like little mounds, and they don't really look like cookies, and they don't really look like brownies. And it can get kind of loud, but this is what I do to get them to flatten a little bit. I give them a little tap. And they start to flatten out a little bit. And then once they cool down just a little bit, I will take my clean hands. I'm going to wash them because I have onions and garlic all over my hands. But once they cool down a little bit, I'm going to press down the top of the cookie just a little bit. Let me give my chicken just a little bit of a turn here. I want to make sure that I'm getting all sides browned and crispy and beautiful. I'm definitely getting a picture of these tonight, that's for sure. Somebody's going to have to wait for dinner. Yesterday for Mother's Day, I made that Dijon salmon, and the ribs were already done. Everything was already done. And I said, you guys, you got to wait. I got to take some pictures of this because I can't put a recipe up on the website unless I have a picture. So, and that's a lot of the time why recipes don't get up there, because they don't actually have the picture yet. But I got a picture yesterday. I made everybody wait, which is fine. They were hungry, and then they ate it all. So it was a good compromise, I guess you could say. Okay, we're gonna get some of these middle pieces off to the side so they can start to get nice and brown. Okay, so while that's finishing doing its thing, it's gonna get nice and brown. I'm just gonna give my hands a nice wash because I'm going to press these cookies down, and then we're going to sprinkle them with some of our salt. So delicious. Then we're going to put together our Greek lemon chicken bowls. And Peter, you better get home fast because we're going to have dinner soon. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to. You don't have to rush, honey. This is a meal that can be eaten room temperature, and you can even save it for later if you wanted to. So our chicken is starting to get really nice and brown. Our cookies, now, they're still hot, so be careful. You can actually use the bottom of a glass if you wanted to, but I just take my 2 fingers and I just press them down just slightly, and then they turn into like those crinkle cookies. Have you guys ever seen those crinkled chocolate chip cookies that are just like beautiful and to die for? And you can only really get that crinkled with real flour and real sugar. So I just press those down just the slightest bit. Okay, where did I put my salt? Salt, where did you go? Okay, there it is. So I'm going to just do a quick little sprinkle of my salt. right? See, it's very flaky salt. It's thicker. It's more coarse. But if all you have is like Morton's coarse kosher salt, that's fine too. So I'm just going to do a little sprinkle on each one of these babies. And the best way to store these is to put them in the fridge or the freezer. They'll stay in the freezer for kind of a while. Peter actually prefers them from the freezer because they still stay chewy. They stay chewy and cold, but they still have the chocolate chips still get a little bit crunchy. Okay, did I get salt on every single one of these babies? I think I did. Okay, let's get that out of the way. I cannot wait to show you this. Those, my friends, are my keto double chocolate chip cookies. These are 2 grams net carb each. So you can have 2 of them, and I think that would be a nice little dessert for you. So those, they're a winner, and the recipe is on the website. Hallelujah. I think some people forget that I have a full-time job, and I still cook for my family, and so sometimes I don't get the recipes all up on the website, but I try to do my best. Okay, check it out, you guys. I am going to turn my chicken over. Oh, perfect. Okay, let's turn that heat off. Lovely. Fantastic. Oh, I might have gone a little bit overboard, but that's okay. I'd rather have it cooked. It's not burnt, but. Okay, let's put our bowl together. Okay, so we're going to start with just a little bit of our cauliflower rice. So that'll go here on the side. And then we'll do, where's my chicken? We'll do my chicken. And I have all of my, look at all of my accoutrement. Look at this. So I've got a little bit of my cherry tomatoes or my little grape tomatoes. I got my Kalamata olives. I've got my cucumbers. I've got my feta cheese right there in the middle. And then I've got my pickled onions. Where's my thing here? I've got my pickled onions. This is so pretty. I'm going to have to take a picture of this. It's fantastic. So we'll put the pickled onions. I mean, I could be Martha Stewart's sister, that's for sure. Look at this. I'm so proud. Okay, and then here is our tzatziki sauce. I'm going to put that right on the side. You guys, right? Look at our Greek bowl. It's so fun and it's delicious. And Peter, get home fast because we're going to have dinner soon. Let's see. Who's coming for dinner? Let me know because I'm making this again. And the recipe is going to be up on the website because I love it. For all of these things, I'm working on it. I have to get some pictures. So what did we make tonight? We made pickled onions. We made tzatziki sauce. We made Greek chicken. We made cauliflower rice. We made keto double chocolate chip cookies. And we haven't even been here for 45 minutes. Who knew we could pull dinner together that fast? Now, to be fair, I do some prep work and some chopping before, but I could have pulled this whole thing together in 1 hour. So it just takes a little bit of planning and a little bit of prep work. I'm so glad that you guys came to see me. You want to ask any questions or come to visit, go to thekellykitchen.com. All my social is The Kelly Kitchen. Please share it. Please let everybody know that I'm working on a cookbook. I chip away at it a little bit every single day, and I'm hoping by summertime that will be done. And until next week, have a fabulous stay-at-home quarantine cooking fun time. So thanks so much, and I will see you later. Bye, guys. We'll see you later.